Sebastien Vettel retired from Formula 1 at the end of 2022. But what if I told you that we might see him back in an F1 car, but this time in a Mercedes? Before the season started, it was announced that Lewis Hamilton would finally make the dream team come true, with him joining Ferrari at the end of 2024. This, of course, left a seat open alongside George Russell at the German team, and though Mercedes has been on a somewhat of a downward spiral lately, a seat at one of F1's most successful teams, plus one that is still fighting for podiums, is of course something that every driver would want to give a try. Many drivers have been pointed to the seat at Mercedes, like Alex Albon, Mick Schumacher, Nico Hülkenberg, even Fernando Alonso. But with Fernando deciding to remain at Aston Martin for next year, and with Mick Schumacher going on to race for Alpine in the hypercar class in WEC, and with Albon and Hülkenberg looking like they're going to stay at their respective teams, the question has yet to be answered. So we shouldn't be surprised that the F1 rumour mill has turned out a new rumour, that someone who we could never have seen coming potentially getting this seat, the retired, four-time world champion, Sebastien Vettel. This rumour has arrived thanks to Vettel himself hinting at a possible return to F1, with Mercedes being one of the teams being named, and his comeback began to look even more likely, with Toto Wolff being asked about it and stating that Vettel is, quote, someone who you can never discount, with Vettel also stating that they've been met up and had a conversation about the problems that Mercedes has found themselves in. So, will it happen? Well, I don't really know. Mercedes has the prestige and the track record that they could probably get any driver that they really wanted to. They could get Albon, they could get Hülkenberg, bloody hell, they could get Nikita Mazepin if they really wanted to. They also have some young drivers waiting in the wings, and of course, the main one being Kimi Antonelli. And they've been rushed up to F2, which we all probably should have seen as a sign that one of the Mercedes drivers were gonna lose their seat, or at least leave the seat this year, because why else would they rush a young driver for development unless they were going to lose a driver? But I think the Antonelli part of this situation is why Vettel could be the right choice to fix this entire issue. We have seen this before as well, with a young driver coming in and they just aren't ready, with the best and most recent case being Logan Sargent, who was pushed into the Williams seat, and at least in my opinion, 1 year too early, leading to the problems that we are seeing this year. But we have seen the exact opposite happen, of course with drivers like Max Verstappen, which yes, in hindsight, was probably the right move to put him in as early as they did, but was still a very controversial and at least questionable move by Red Bull at the time. And Max isn't the only driver that this has happened with, but most of these cases have ended pretty badly. I mean, look at Stroll. He skipped F2 and went into F1 instantly, and look what's happened to him. So if Mercedes rushes Kimi into a car in a seat like Mercedes next year, I don't think it would be a good place for him, as the team right now is just not in the right shape to be able to look after a rookie. But then again, it was never really a place to go for a rookie. I mean, look at Russell. He started at Williams and stayed there for 3 years before he even got a chance to drive for the Silver Arrows full time. And even if you don't like Russell, you have to admit, he's a damn good driver. The only other driver to start at a top team is, of course, Lewis Hamilton, which isn't exactly a driver that we should really be comparing to, but in the modern age of F1, I just don't think it would be a smart idea to put a young driver alongside Russell, who, now that I think about it, probably just adds another layer to this whole situation. Russell was promised that he could get the backup if Lewis retired or moved teams, and was probably promised his own Bottas as well. But with the other side of the garage being filled with a young star talent driver like Kimi Antonelli, and getting to start at a top team, unlike Russell who had to start down in a slower car, and now he would probably get built into a Verstappen stopper, of course Russell would probably not want to help out with team orders unless they only helped him. Vettel fixes this though. Vettel is one of the most respected drivers in F1 history, plus has an amazing track record, and is also one of the most respectful drivers out on track, so of course any driver, including Russell, would want to have him as a teammate. Russell could learn new driving techniques for Vettel, or hopefully for the other drivers, can learn how to be smarter and more respectful out on track. But what about from a Mercedes perspective? Seb isn't exactly go out with a bang at the end of his last season, with a couple of good performances here and there, but it was never truly seemed like we got back that Vettel from the V8 era. But even then, he is still a good driver. And Alonso has proven that with the right car and team, these older drivers can still fight with the young ones, but with a smart head behind the wheel. Plus, this would allow Mercedes time to make sure that Kimi Antonelli was ready for F1, maybe in 2026, because he would then get more time to used to some faster cars, plus more testing time in an F1 car. Also, with Vettel at the team, Vettel could help Kimi with his driving as well, and Vettel could potentially take on the role that Niki Lauda had at the team and be a strong grounding force for the team, and make drivers want to join the team if Russell and Kimi ever decide to leave. But then again, there are other drivers who are still racing right now who have been proving themselves to be amazing racers, like Albon, Hulkenberg, and top drivers who are looking for a seat, like Carlos Sainz. So who knows? Mercedes might want to try and get a younger driver in a seat for maybe some more short-term pace. Or they could try to get an older driver to keep the seat warm and the team stable as the Antonelli gets ready for Formula 1. So, let me know your thoughts down below, and make sure to like and subscribe to never miss a video. I've been Connor, signing off.